begin with breaking news from Gaza City and al-Shifa hospital, where a third mass grave has been found. At least 49 bodies have been recovered. Officials are currently exhuming the bodies from the grave. Israel had laid siege to the compound in March. After their forces left, several bodies were discovered. Hundreds of Palestinians had been taking shelter in the complex. Al-Shifa Hospital is Gaza's largest medical facility, but has been out of service for months. Let's bring in Al Jazeera's Hani Mahmoud for more on this. He joins us live from Deir Al Balah in central Gaza. Hani, what more are you hearing about this new mass grave that's been discovered at Al-Shifa?
Yes, Father, this is part of an evolving, heartbreaking story of more bodies being found in a massive grave. This is not the first time. This is the third massive grave discovered at the courtyard of al-Shifa hospital. The Israeli military stormed al-Shifa hospital twice, and in each time leaving trails of devastation and destruction, completely pushing the facility out of service, where thousands of people were sheltering inside. That included injuries, patients, and evacuees. For the past months of this genocidal war, this is a new massive grave. Mainly bodies of women and children were found all in one massive grave. 49 bodies have been recovered. The search is still continuing, and we're getting reports from the civil defense crew members and paramedics. There are still more bodies, those who were identified within the past a few weeks as missing, where their whereabouts was unknown for many of the remaining family members. This is the third time we're seeing a massive grave discovered in al-Shifa hospital. Only 2 weeks ago, 3 massive graves were also discovered at Nasser Hospital, bringing the total number of people both in Nasser Hospital and al-Shifa Hospital, and one more in Kamal Adwan Hospital, to 520 bodies that were found in these massive graves. Very tragic and very heartbreaking, and this is a double tragedy for families, remaining family members who were waiting and hoping that they could find their missing family members. And right now they're being introduced, they're being called to go to the site of al-Shifa hospital to identify those bodies.
As you say, it's not just at al-Shifa, Hani, but other mass graves were found at other medical facilities across the Gaza Strip. And I know you've been to some of those grave sites. Talk to us about that experience, and who are the victims who were discovered? What more have we found out about them and the circumstances under which they died?
It's been very tragic and heartbreaking to cover this evolving story of massive grave, and we happen to be at the site of a massive grave in Nasser Hospital, where close to 300 bodies being recovered, bodies of injuries, bodies of patients. We knew this because we could see literally, along with the civil defense crew and paramedics, the medical bandages, the catheters still attached to the bodies, and also bodies who were tied, their hands were tied behind their backs by ziplock, and they were buried close to 5 and 10 meters under the sand. This is not the way bodies are buried across the Gaza Strip here. We knew it was a massacre because from the way it was done, from the compiling the bodies next to each other. What's really heartbreaking about this is seeing the bodies of women and children who were also in the massacre. But more tragic is thinking of the last minutes of those injuries and patients inside the hospitals who were dragged into their final moments. What sort of things went on their heads, knowing they were going to be either buried alive or they were killed and then buried. All these sort of things that has been a large psychological trauma, not only on while reporting about it, but also everybody else who was watching the discovery and the recovery of these bodies from the massive grave. Also, heartbreaking to see remaining family members mourning and embracing the bodies of their family members were pulled from the massive grave, recovered from the massive grave, giving them the last hug, the last kiss goodbye, while at the same time had to tolerate the suffocating smells because of the deceased bodies. That was probably the hardest thing, saying goodbye to someone very close. Thought they could find them, but at the same time doing it at the very difficult conditions possible.
Hani, thank you very much. Of course, the discovery of this new mass grave could amount to more war crimes in Gaza. Thank you, Hani, for the update. Hani Mahmoud, live there in Deir Al Balah in central Gaza.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.